Welcome to the show, everybody. We're back, and we are live, and we are with Steve Walsh, and I'm so excited about that he is here because I absolutely love working with him. I have Steve Walsh, who's the owner of Scott Mortgage. I said Scott. You did. I was laughing because you were talking while I was talking. It's Scout Mortgage, and let me tell you about Scout Mortgage. They are the home of the no closing cost mortgage, and I want to talk a little bit about that. Every time you come on, you are fantastic because this is something that you are one of the only people that actually do this, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. That's exactly it.
Okay.
We've been doing this for 20 years.
You are now.
You know, it's funny, going back to what you said, Scott. You know, I get emails still to this day. People say, hey, Scott. People I've known for 10 years. They get Scott and Scout. So they know I
Why
own the
did
company.
You call it Scout Mortgage? I want to know about that.
I should have called it Scott Mortgage and changed my name. So,
but tell us why you call it that.
Scout Mortgage? Mm-hmm. Hey, that's a great question. To Kill a Mockingbird. The Scout, the little girl in To Kill a Mockingbird, that was part of the reason. And we actually started as Premier Mortgage, but premiermortgage.com, you have to go back to 1999. Everyone was buying, pets.com, this.com. So we couldn't get premiermortgage.com, but we could get scoutmortgage.com. So we're like, hey, we'll change it to Scout Mortgage. So we made it Scout Mortgage. And it seemed like something very simple to remember. Scout. So we just said, just keep saying Scout over and over again. So
here's how I look at it.
You tell me.
First of all, I have to tell you, I've seen you. I see your billboards all the time. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right.
And whenever I think about Scout Mortgage, you're scouting out the best mortgage, the best deal that anybody can get. That is how I look at it.
And that's what we hope for. That's what we're hoping for.
And
we had a logo with binoculars for a while. Yeah, it was dark blue. It was about 10, 12 years ago. It was someone with binoculars.
But that's how I view you guys, because one thing that you told me...
We're leaders, not followers. And that was the premise with going back to what you were saying with no closing cost mortgages. We were thinking, hey, there's got to be a more cost-effective way to get a mortgage. And we discussed this last time I was here. I moved here from Canada in the 90s. And up in Canada, you don't pay somebody $5,000 or $6,000 to get a mortgage. And down here, people do it regularly. And I don't know. I don't understand. Everyone's on autopilot. Okay, I'll just pay a point. And ironically, I had someone ask me the other day. He goes, I'm just going to pay a point. And I said, you realize that's $4,000. He goes, what? That's ridiculous. I go, well, you said you want to pay a point. Like, people think, I'm going to pay. I'm going to get a better rate. It doesn't necessarily work out that way. People just flush the money down the toilet. And so, do I need to give people a free television or with closing to realize how much money that actually is when you spend $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 to borrow money? Listen, we get paid by the banks, not by the borrower. I don't say the difference, but that's who pays us ultimately, is the bank, for bringing them a mortgage, for bringing them a loan. And so we can pay for the title, the appraisal, the underwriting, all that fun stuff out of the proceeds given to us by the bank. And the bank is not a charity organization. They realize over 30 years you're going to pay them $900,000, some huge amount of money over your lifetime, right? So they're willing to pay $5,000 or $6,000 for your appraisal, title, underwriting up front. So anyhow,
well, here's what I say. First of all, you have to know that they are the best, Arizona's best kept secret. But you started coming on this show, and I said not anymore, because I want it out there that they are the home of the no closing cost mortgage. And what we want to talk about is why it makes so much sense to do what you do. To work with you.
Did I? Here's the thing. Well, that's part of it, right? A more cost-effective way of getting a mortgage. We get that. But what's really changed over the last few years, and kind of, I guess a pivot, is we have access. We're like the Walmart now of mortgages. We have so many programs and so many lenders that we work with. And so every program, if you call me up, everyone's different, and so you don't know exactly which bank you're going to take them to. When somebody calls up, I really don't know where I'm going with that loan until I hear the full story, and until I get more information, and then I can steer and go and find the absolute best program for them. And so one of the things that's very important from a back office perspective, a secondary part, is making sure we have these relationships with all the best banks in the country to make sure we can get the best rates, because you never know. A 30-year fix today, there could be a bank out of Michigan, and I'm thinking of one in particular, that has the best rates. But if somebody doesn't have the best credit, it might be a bank out of California. We don't know. We have to look at the file, and then that's where our job begins. That's where we earn our keep right there.
That's where the scouting comes in.
Yeah.
That is a great line.
You know, my kids are lucky. I have 2 daughters, Casey and Ryan. Hi, guys. I think they're listening. They're listening right now. But I started the company before, so I couldn't name my kid Scout. So when I had the company, I was like, hey, I'm going to name the company Scout. No, I had the kids after, so I went Scout.
But I love that
otherwise,
name.
I liked it, and then I wanted a dog, and I got vetoed on that one by the kids. I'm like, no, it's going to be Scout. It's going to be in our commercials. Come on, we're going to have a lab named Scout for the commercials and for the website. Nope, got vetoed on that too.
Aww.
So,
well, anyway, listen
like
to what
the
we
name.
want to do. You do free consultations with everyone. You're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau.
Yes,
Their
ma'am.
website is scoutmortgage.com. And the phone number to call them is 480-607-7906. You just want to pick up the phone. There's so many different reasons why to call you. Yes, if you're buying a home, right?
Yep.
But also you might want to get some money, refi. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, rates are still great. An interesting point today is, here we are the second week of July, and rates are at the lowest level in 3 months. So it's kind of good timing right now. So if you've been on the fence, this is the best time in the last 3 months to refinance. I don't know how long this little blip will last. So you kind of want to get into it now. But yeah, we also do purchases, and people are starting to call. They call us to get pre-qualified before you get your sight set on that house. Make sure you can qualify for the mortgage first, because it is a tricky landscape out there. It really is. And we have a lot of lenders to work with, and even people with less than perfect credit, credit events as we call them in the last few years, they can still get into a house. A lot of them don't think they can, but they can, because there are a lot of new banks that have opened up in the last couple of years who are coming up with some really creative programs.
So the real thing that you need to do is call them, find out
have
what
it
they
all.
can do.
Yes, and start a conversation, call us, and maybe it's not time to buy today, maybe a year from now, 2 years from now. So if you're looking to buy, get pre-qualified so that you can close. I had a client call me the other day. We took a contract on, June 27th, and we had docs out on July 5th. So we can close in a week right now. With automation, technology, you can close fast. You can close a loan in a week. So get pre-qualified, go out, find your house, and
live happily
and save money on closing costs. Put your money, if you're going to spend money, put it for equity in the house. If you're going to put 5% down, put it into the house. Don't put an extra 3 or 4% in closing costs on top of that.
You don't have to with them, because they're the home of the no closing cost mortgage.
Exactly. And so when you buy a house, it's a $3,000-$4,000 credit we're giving you at closing. That's real money. You can go to Hawaii with that money. Do something else.
The number to call them is 480-607-7906. They're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and they do free consultations. If you want to check them out on their website, it is scoutmortgage.com. So let me ask you, too. What should people do? Let's say they want to try and lower their rate. Should they do that?
Yeah, the rates aren't as great as they were obviously a year ago, but they're still, below 5%. That's pretty incredible. It's still, historically speaking, the second lowest rate of, in all time. So it's still a great time to refinance. And, if you have credit card debt, you have, maybe a car loan you want to pay off, you want to consolidate some bills, now's not a bad time to do it. So.
And here's the thing, too. You can check them out on all of the different sites. They've got 5-star ratings everywhere. Mm-hmm. And what I know about you the most is that you told me that your things happen all the time. I mean, they're changing your every single day. Their rates change, sometimes even 2 or 3 times in a day.
Yeah, rates are like a stock price. We get a ticker going across our desk that every second they go up and they go down. And people, that's one of the people misunderstand. They don't really understand said, where do mortgage rates come from? And it's not the Federal Reserve necessarily. They control the broader market, but specifically mortgage rates are long-term rates, so they're in a different category. But the Fed's been raising rates, but mortgage rates haven't gone up that much. They're only up about a point from where they were last year. They're still really good. But yes, they move around day to day, hour to hour. And so, one of the things we like to do for our clients is, lock something in, and if rates drop during the process, we can float it down for you. And if you close at a rate and rates move down in 6 months, we'll drop the rate for you on a no-cost basis. We'll pay for the appraisal, title, underwriting, processing, everything, and lower your rate. So a mortgage isn't something you stick in the drawer like, I think back to my parents. They bought a house, stuck the mortgage, in the safe somewhere. Nowadays, it's something you have to manage. We manage our 401ks. We manage more of our retirement together. And the same thing's true with a mortgage. You have to look at it because opportunities present themselves, and you should be ready to take advantage.
Their number is 480-607-7906. A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. They do free consultations. And if you can lower your rate, it obviously just makes sense to do it.
If you can lower your rate for free, it makes sense. And if you're buying a house, don't pay $5,000 or $6,000 in closing costs. You don't have to.
And then that's scoutmortgage.com. Again, that number is 480-607-7906. They are the home of the no closing cost mortgage. Again, it's 480-607-7906. Welcome back, everyone. We're talking with Steve Walsh. He's the owner of Scout Mortgage.
Much better. Thank you.
Thank you. And you know what? Here's the thing. When you come on, what I think about you is so cool is that you're sort of very cool about what you do. And I think what makes you different is that you're really out there to try and help people really not save money.
Right.
And get there and get money and get houses.
If you have the best, I'm not shy to go on the radio because I know and I said this, we were in front of realtors the other day, and I said, we're the best mortgage company in Arizona. And I said it just, passively, matter of factly.
Can
and
you
they
say
were like,
that?
hey, yeah, and it's, I'm like, no, but I'm not kidding. I'm dead serious. We're very good at what we do because it's all we do for 20 years. And if your day, we don't take deposits, we don't have checking accounts, and we don't do all those crazy things. We do mortgages. We do one thing, so we do it well. So we're not, someone who's great at everything, but we're good at one thing. If you're buying a house or refinancing, we're very good at that. We're very good at mortgages.
But I also like what you do is that if somebody is getting a mortgage with you and you're watching rates, you can change that. I mean, I don't know anybody that's ever said that ever on my show.
No, it's kind of, a float down option gives you the benefit of locking something in, and if something better comes along, we can go somewhere else. And, we work with maybe 40 lenders, so something better often comes along, and we're like, see ya, and off we go to the other lender. It's
amazing. So I never even heard of that term, float down.
Yeah, and so, a bank is obligated, it's like if you're a Buick dealership, what do you like? Buicks. That's all you have. You have your product. The banks, take any of the big banks in town, they sell what's in there, what they have, and we don't do that. We get to pick the best products from all these different banks all over the country, and our clients get usually a 1% to 2% credit for closing costs. So, if you're buying a $300,000 house, most of our clients would get about a $3,000 credit for closing costs. That covers title, appraisal, underwriting, all the normal non-recurring closing costs as they're defined. So it's a better way. It just is.
So the best thing to do is just give them a call. They do free consultations with everybody. And you said that what you want people to do is just start a conversation. I love the way that you say that.
We're a local lender, and there's a story to be heard. And I would bet all your listeners.
There's a story to be heard.
Yeah, I bet a lot of your listeners have had the experience of going into a bank and being told no. And not just for a car loan or a home loan, but just no, just the snottiness, if I can.
The teller tells me, no, you can't have your money.
Yeah. I had that once when I wanted to take some money out to go to we were going to Vegas, and they're like, no, we don't have any. I'm like, they're like long weekend, we ran out. But just the banks is a stuffiness to the banks, right? And so we're not stuffy. We're on your side, which is actually. It's a simple sentence, but it means a lot more. I'm an advocate. If I had to describe, to some alien what I do, I'm an advocate for my borrower. I know all the ins and outs of the industry, and I know who has the best rates. I can see behind the curtain which bank has the best rates in the country right now. They can lie to you in a TV ad, a radio ad, whatever. They can put up whatever rate they want, and then you call them up and they're like, oh, sorry, that rate's not available. No, I can see behind the curtain. I can find you the best rate. I know who has the best rate for somebody with a great credit score and somebody with a less than perfect credit score. So that's what we do. We're your advocate. We fight for you. If the bank, tries to, to throw in some costs, we pay them. We help you out every way possible.
That number to call again is 480-607-7906. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. They have 5-star ratings everywhere, no matter where you look. They are the home of the no closing cost mortgage. They also say if you can lower your rate, it just makes sense to do so.
Exactly. If you can lower your rate for free, it just makes sense. And, we understand people don't necessarily know us. They may see a billboard, hear us on the radio here. So, over the last couple of years, we've paid for people's appraisals up front. That saves $600 up front that you don't have to pay. We pay for their appraisal. We're like, you don't know me. Here's what I'll do. I'm going to show you how good we are. We'll pay for your appraisal, and off we go. So you don't have to pay us $500 up front. If the loan doesn't close, you don't owe me anything. So, we're really doing everything we can for the benefit of the borrower. And that's a different position than the bank, the big banks are going to take.
And again, my opinion is that everybody has a story, and they're going through something, and a lot of people, what's so funny about that?
It's funny you say that, because I sent an email. There's this really strong borrower, but there was one problem with the file. So I emailed the president of a bank out in North Carolina, and I said, bro, we have to make this loan go through. It's a great loan. We have to make it work. And he said, hey, bypass the AE on the file. Send the file directly to me. I'll make it happen. And so that's the kind of stuff that we can do. If the deal makes sense, we got to make it happen for our borrowers. So there's a story. And we're more than just a credit score. We're more than just a credit score and a down payment. There's a lot to a file, and that's what we do. We package it up, we present it properly to a bank, and we get the loans closed in a timely, efficient, cost-effective manner.
So let's talk too about this. There's something that I was thinking about while you were talking. The difference of going to, some of the there's bigger places and stuff like that, big names and stuff like that, and going to like I consider Scout Mortgage a boutique.
I thought you were going to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly
What's the difference?
The difference is, we have access to all, besides being nicer, we have, a bank is just going to go by their guidelines. We call them overlays. All the banks, they have specific, a little box that you have to fit into. That's what it is. You have to fit into their box. And you can name the top 6 banks in the country. Everyone has a slightly different little box that you have to fit into. We find out which box you fit into. We find a bank that you're going to fit into. You don't necessarily have to fit in that box, or we're going to maybe shape your file a little to make sure it fits in that box. But we have access to so many different programs, and that's different. When you walk into a bank, they're going to say yes or no. And you could have the best file in the world. It's just not their type. And so we have to find out which bank is going to take you. And that's our job. And there are times where we go to lender A, and they say, nope. And we're like, why not? Well, this is wrong. And we go back to the borrower saying, here's the problem. Can you pay off this, this, and this? And maybe and then we go to lender B. So, that's the ability we have, is to shop around and find the best program.
When you said that there's some newer banks out there right now that have some terrific programs, because there's a lot of people that, I know the economy is much better than it ever was, but it's not yet that, especially here.
No, we're not back to where we were. People have not been made whole by the crash. Arizona, Florida, and Vegas, Nevada, we got hit the hardest in the crash. So we've recovered, but people still don't have the savings they had. They got cleaned out. Stock market down 55%, housing prices down 50%. So we're still recovering, and so people have short sales, foreclosures, credit. We call them credit events. That's this new slang. So they have a credit event in the last few years. We can get around that. The banks are coming up with programs, and you might not get the best rate out there, but you can get a competitive rate. So, but we have to, we start a conversation and figure it out. And maybe you have to wait another year, maybe another 6 months, but you don't know until you try. But there are a lot of programs that go as low as, I believe, 550 credit score. So the banks are making an effort
What I also want to say too is when I listened to you earlier when you're talking about that if there's a better rate, let's say somebody was to want to get into a house, they're tired of renting,
right.
okay, and they don't have the greatest credit, but they're okay. You know, they've renting for a while, they could show that they've been there for 5 years or whatever, and then they go ahead and they get like a higher rate, and they're paying on time. They're paying on time, let's say for a year or whatever it is, and they're building more credit. Then they can come to you and say, hey, you know what, I've been doing this, I've done this, this, and this. And then they can change their rate.
Exactly. And so it's basically going from a B plus loan to an A minus loan to an A plus loan. So you kind of work your way up or work your rate down. We do that all the time. So sometimes we call them bridge loans. It's not technically a bridge loan, but hey, let's get you into the house.
Get in.
And then in 6 months, or we had a guy signing today that it's a cash out refinance to get rid of a bunch of debt that's really impacting his credit scores. And we're like, listen, this isn't going to be the best loan, but it's the best loan for you right now. Let's get rid of this credit card debt. You're gonna see your credit scores pop up over the next 3 or 4 months, and now we'll get you into a loan that you'll be happy with for the next 10, 20 years, however long you're in the property.
Sometimes I think you have to pay a higher rate in order to be able to get yourself into the lower rate later.
Right, but you're talking about, and that's called a mortgage strategy, right? And that's what we do. We strategize with our clients. It's like, okay, there has to be a plan here, whether it's you're buying a house a year from now or whether you're going to do something like this, pay off credit cards, improve your credit, and then take the step to get into the best loan. And then mortgage rates could come down 6 months later and we have to refinance you again. So what? We're doing it on a no-cost basis. So we're paying for your appraisal, title, underwriting, processing. So if we're paying everything, and as you said, if you can lower your rate for free, it just makes sense, lower your rate. But we take a strategy. It's not one and done. Our clients, we've had clients for 20 years calling us. So
I mean, and to me, like I said, you said it just makes sense, and it does just make sense. There's so many different reasons why, and maybe it's you out there, maybe it's someone that you know, tell them about this. That's what networking is all about. Right. And I want people to understand that these people are really your scout mortgage for you. They're looking for the right place for you to get in the house of your dream, but also to save you money and to not have to pay for things that you shouldn't even have to be paying for.
Absolutely. We pay your closing costs, but we're also your advocate. We're in your corner. We're working for you to make sure you get the best rate. And one thing, and this is, I don't want to get off topic, but when a lot of people who shop, they go from bank to bank to bank and they get their credit pulled up to 20 or 30 times. Then they come to us and we're like, why did you do this? You ruined your credit. Your credit scores took a big hit. We have the ability to pull credit once, shop for you. So we shop for you. You don't have to. Go do something else.
And they are the home of the no closing cost mortgage. You can give them a call. That phone number is 480-607-7906. They're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. They do free consultations. Start a conversation with them. It's scoutmortgage.com.